Hi and welcome back. We are going to be continuing our polishing series, and today I'm actually going to focus a little bit more on some texturing using one of our accessory kits that we've just released, the AK52212. This has a 12-piece accessory set and everything from texturing all the way through polishing. Let's take a look. So starting off here, we've got yellow, natural, and white muslin buffs, and we also have a 5-layer brown suede buff, followed by a 2-layer cotton string buff, as well as a cotton mop, and we even have a 3-layer felt buff. Then here's where we're really going to concentrate today. We have these little nylon satin finishers. These are kind of cool because they're impregnated with abrasives. They are going to be great for cleaning and matte finishes, and that's what we're going to talk about. So we have the most abrasive one, which is a light red. Then kind of going in order, we've got a tan, then the dark red, the gray, and the green. So those are going to be our finer ones. So let's take a look at these now and kind of see how they get used. Now when it comes to these different polishing buffs down here, you're going to still use these as I have showed you in the various videos throughout this series. So I'm not going to cover those as much this time. Like I said, we're going to concentrate more here on our satin finishers. Now like I've said before, anytime you are using any of these rotary accessories, make certain that you take the time, pull your hair back. You want to make certain that you're wearing your safety gear, your goggles, as well as a face mask so that you are taking all of your safety precautions. The first accessory I'm going to use is that light red. This is going to be the most aggressive one of these. Now I don't want to run these too high, so I definitely don't want to go over about 10,000 RPM, but I never use it that high anyway. Now I'm not going to use any compound or anything like that with this, and in this case I have some silver. This is a casting or an ingot that I was rolling out, and it's been sitting around for a while, so there's a bit of tarnish on this, and so I'm just going to use this just to knock off that tarnish. And you can see it makes really quick work of this. Now I do feel some of this stuff kind of spitting back at me, and that's why I want to make certain that I'm wearing safety glasses as well as a mask when I'm doing some of this. All right, so you can see how quickly that works. Now, just like an aggressive sandpaper, it is going to leave some lines here, and that would need to be addressed if I were going to, say, work this through to get this back up to like a high finish or a high polish. But these are going to be wonderful for rust removal and some of that high tarnish removal or any kind of oxidation that you might have on tools or whatever else you might have. So let me just take this a little bit, and we're going to work our way through a couple of these satin finishers, and we'll look at some of that. Now that I'm happy with how this looks, I'm going to switch to the next least aggressive, and in this case that is going to be our tan satin finisher. Just like when I'm using a sanding stick or sandpaper, I'm going to work in the opposite direction to remove all of the previous lines created with the previous abrasive. And you can see the two different types of finishes that I currently have now. Now, if you were looking for this kind of finish, obviously you can just use this for that. Now, I'm going to switch one more time, and we're going to go to the next least aggressive, and this is going to be that dark red. Now, one more time, I'm going to switch directions. And you can see that my marks are even finer still. And once again, I've changed so that I'm going in a perpendicular motion. And once again, I've just gone until I no longer have that perpendicular line. But now you can see we've got 3 different finishes. Now another thing to note that while I'm doing this, I am not using a lot of pressure. It is a very light touch that I am using, and if I happen to use a lot of pressure, I will blow through this very quickly because it is not a compressed material, and so it will be very easy to just kind of knock through that really fast. So when you go to reorder some of these, if you happen to find that there's one that you use more than another, you may want to consider just ordering a box of 12 or 24 of them. So you can see that we've now gone through each of the 5 different abrasives. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to take the last little bit of this. I'm going to polish this with a cotton buff and a little bit of white or platinum white. So you can see that you can go all the way through. Now you'll see that I didn't spend a lot of time, so I do still see some of my polishing lines right here, but we can see at least some of that. So sometimes I just want to have just a little bit of a satin finish, and that's where I'll pull in one of these lighter ones, like the green. So this is our finest one, and I'll just go over the surface just ever so gently. You want to follow that same direction. And it finishes off our piece really, really nicely. Nice satin finish there. And I could do the same on the top, even if my top has a bit of a texture, as in the case of this one. So just like having a good arsenal of your sandpapers, having a nice variety of these satin finishers is really nice to have in your studio as well, because that way then you can do any number of different finishes, but also not just for finishes, but they have their useful functions too when it comes to knocking down corrosion or rust or oxidation. So I highly suggest you check out this particular accessory kit. Again, you get a nice variety. This particular kit is the AK52212. So make sure you check it out. As always, if you guys like the video, make sure you give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and ring that bell so you get notifications. If you have any questions or comments whatsoever, leave them down in the comment and we'll get back to you soon. Have a good day.